What is up? The West Virginia Mountaineers open the 2024-25 basketball season. They opened the Darian DeVries era with a hot start, both in the game and for the season. What is up, and welcome to this live edition of Hoops from the Hills. I greatly apologize for being so late. I had some technical difficulties before I got on. I had to set up in my backup studio as well, which took me a few minutes. Anyway, multiple issues I had to deal with that were unexpected. So I apologize for being late. For those of you who hung with me, I really appreciate it. Welcome to the new version of Hoops from the Hills. As most of you know, I have taken this channel back over for Mountaineer Paul, and I'm here to give you a live post-game show here tonight. Really impressive performance by West Virginia in a lot of areas. There are some areas, though, they need to work on, most notably rebounding. This is the one area we thought this team would struggle because of their lack of size, and they showed it tonight against an opponent they really should have rebounded better against. But let's go ahead and dive into the stats for this game. I'm going to do a screen share here. All right, here we go. It's not sharing. Why is it not showing? There we go. Let me take this off the screen here so we can look at those stats better. All right. Here are the stats from the Stat Broadcast website. As you see, the individual stats. Let's look at the team stats first. I always like to start there, and then we can look at the individual stats. As you see, 87-59 is the final score, 28-point win for the Mountaineers. They started off on a 21-0 run. Could not have asked for a better start from this basketball team. Very, very hot start. 8 straight points to start the game from Tucker DeVries, who finished the game with 18. Mountaineers shot 55% from the floor, 41% from three, which is really good, 58% from the free throw line. That needs to get better for sure. Had 11 turnovers, which is too many. They need to cut that down, but they did force 14 turnovers on the defensive end. Robert Morris shot 32% from the field, 25% from three, 75% from the free throw line. Rebounds, total rebounds, 41 for Robert Morris, 37 for West Virginia. And again, Robert Morris is not a team that has a lot of size. They are a little undersized. And West Virginia was still not able to win the rebounding battle against an undersized team who's a mid-major. So they need to get better on that front. I know that's going to be a big focus of Darian DeVries. It already is. They do work on a lot of practice. They need to continue to get better at that. Defensive rebounding, West Virginia with 31, 25 for Robert Morris. And then offensive rebounding, 16 for Robert Morris, only 6 for West Virginia. And then blocks, 8 for West Virginia, so they did good in that area. They also had 10 steals and 16 assists to only 8 for Robert Morris. So really dominant performance in every category except free throw shooting and rebounding for the Mountaineers, 2 areas that I'm sure Darian DeVries will have them working on going forward. Now let's look at some the leaders for this game. Obviously, Amani Hansberry for West Virginia had 9 points, but also had 12 rebounds, so 1 point away from a double-double. Javon Small had 15 points, 2 rebounds, also had 5 assists on the night. Freshman KJ Tenner looked really impressive. I was impressed with this young man. He had 10 points off the bench for the Mountaineers to go along with 1 rebound and 3 assists. And then Tucker DeVries, the high scorer for the night, 18 points to go along with 4 rebounds and an assist, with 6 of 13 from the floor. Top performers for Robert Morris, Josh Mojafo with 13 points, and then Dylan Miller with 6, and Ishmael Plett with 8. And then Alvaro Falgares had 10 rebounds. So a good night for him off the boards, but did not score a point. And then some specialty stats, bench points, 28-26, West Virginia got the edge there. Points in the paint, 30-26, West Virginia. 25-11 points off turnovers for the Mountaineers. 14-11 opponent turnovers, obviously. Second chance points, only 9 for West Virginia, 12 for Robert Morris. West Virginia has got to cut back on the second chance points for their opponents. We talked about offensive rebounds, fast break points, 12 for the Mountaineers. That's an area they're going to excel in probably this year. They were 9 of 13 on layups, 4 or 5 on dunks. Man, there were some nice dunks in this game. The big dunk on the out-of-bounds play by Toby O'Connie. couple nice dunks from Javon Small. Scores 37-27, and then 37 total scores for West Virginia, 27 for Robert Morris. Points per possession, 1.299 for West Virginia. That is an astounding number. 0.855 for Robert Morris. Turnover percentage, 16 for West Virginia, 20 for Robert Morris. Robert Morris never led in the game, and then it was only tied for 34 seconds in the game. So, and that was when it was 0-0. So, at the 34-second mark, West Virginia scored and never looked back. All right, now let's look at some individual stats here that we haven't talked about already. First for West Virginia, obviously we talked about Javon Small and Darian Tucker DeVries. When you look at DeVries, though, he was 4 for 9 from 3, which is really, really good. Javon Small was 3 of 6 from 3. And what I really liked about Javon Small, his step back is one of the best I've seen. He has an elite, I don't want to call it elite yet, but he's a very, very good step back jump shot. Made a couple guys look silly on that. But he was 3 of 6 from 3, 6 of 11 overall from the floor. Just a really, really good night for him in 27 minutes. Toby Okani put in 13 points on the night to go along with 3 rebounds. Also had a steal and no blocks. Sincere Harris, a good night defensively with 3 blocks to go along with a steal. Also pulled down 4 rebounds to go along with 4 points. And then played really good one-on-one defense, though, against his man all night. Monty Hansberry had 9 points to go along with, like I mentioned, 12 rebounds and 2 blocks. Eduardo Andre, 4 points, 4 rebounds, and a block. Let's see. Jonathan Powell, another freshman off the bench with 11 points. So the 2 freshmen off the bench, KJ Tenner, Jonathan Powell with 11 and 10 points. Powell was 4 of 8 shooting, 3 of 7 from 3 to go along with a rebound. And he played 21 minutes. So good minutes for him. And that's really the big stories of the night. Joseph Yesufu had 3 points as well. But a really good overall performance by the Mountaineers tonight in most categories. Look, it's Robert Morris. I get it. It's not a team. It's a team they should beat. What you'd like to see, though, is better rebounding. You'd also like to see West Virginia really do a better job of stepping on the pedal or continuing their momentum from the first half into the second half. They didn't really do that. Didn't really extend the lead much in the second half until late in the second half. And then and really their max lead in the first half was 28. They tied that by winning the game by 28. So was never able to get it to that 30 mark. When you look at Robert Morris's leaders here, their leading scorer, as I mentioned, was that's the first half. I'm sorry. Leading scorer was Mojafo was 13. Nobody else in double digits. Smith had 8. Platt had 8. Woods had 7. Prather had 5. And then, like I mentioned, Fulgaris had 10 rebounds. So he had a good night off the boards. Also had a block and a couple steals. So good night for Fulgaris, even though he wasn't able to put the ball in the basket. So really it's what you wanted from this West Virginia team to start off. It's a brand new team, brand new roster. We didn't know what to expect. Pretty impressed, really. I love the energy from this team. I love the way they play. It's a fun brand of basketball, fast-paced offensively, getting up in your grill on the defensive end. That's a lot of fun. I really enjoy that. And it's going to be a fun season. They do need to improve the rebounding, which is something we were concerned about coming in because we knew they lacked size, and they obviously need to do a better job of bringing the same energy in late in the game that they do early in the game. But again, that's all stuff that's correctable. Hopefully the rebounding is correctable. Like I said, when they start playing better competition, especially once they get into Big 12 play, they're going to need to do a better job on the glass. And yet, Val, great point. The ball movement was fantastic. That's something we also saw in that scrimmage against Charleston. The ball movement is impeccable. They do a good job moving without the ball as well. They do a good job on the pick and roll game. Very, very unselfish team. It kind of reminds you a little bit, not the same style of ball, but just the way the team shares the ball, the way they were able to shoot the ball efficiently. It kind of reminds you a little bit of watching some John Beilein teams from back in the day, and I like it. It's a fun brand of basketball. And let's be honest, the last few years Hugs was there. Especially once they got past the Press Virginia days, West Virginia offensively could get ugly at times. I mean, it was sometimes just ugly to watch. They had to win with defense, and they had to kind of win ugly a lot. This team, to me, will not need to win ugly. They can win with their brand of basketball, and that's what I like. I apologize for the nasally sound. I'm not only as many of you know, I've been dealing with a death in my family. This is the first video I have done since Thursday on either channel because like I said, I've been dealing with a death in the family. A lot of spending a lot of time with family, tying up loose ends with arrangements and all that stuff. But and in the meantime, dealing with all that, I also have come down with some sort of a cold or sinus crap. I don't know what it is, but I apologize for the nasally voice. But anyway, who's in the house here in the chat? We've got Sasquatch 304. He says, "Welcome back, Couz. I got to watch second half, and it was nice to see shots going in." Average Cody says, "Hey, Couz, good to see you back." Also says, "I feel like WVU is going to need more scoring from Harris." I'd like to see it, Cody, but really Harris is a defensive guy. I mean, he's there for his defense mainly. Scoring is a bonus. If he can put the ball in the basket, great. Obviously, you want him to do that, but the main thing you want him for is to be a lockdown defender, put pressure on the ball. Obviously, you noticed even a couple times when his man beat him, he was able to come from behind him and block the shot. His length at the guard spot is going to create a huge, huge amount of problems for the opposing teams this year, and I love to see it. He's a hard guy to screen. He's able to get through screens and around screens very well. Just a really, really good defensive ball player, and it's going to be fun to watch. WU Fan 13 says we were favored by 18.5, won by 28. Not a bad outing for the first game with a brand new team. Absolutely. That's exactly what I was going to get to. We didn't know what to expect. We remember last year this team last year was losing some of these games against what you want to call bye games against these mid-major teams. And this team comes out and not only covers the spread, but they obliterate it by 9.5 points. So it's what you want to see. It's a team full of Power 4 talent, Power 4 athletes, and they were able to come out and play like it for the most part anyway. UCF beat number 13 Texas A&M. Welcome to Big 12 are you talking about in basketball? That's great. It's good for the Big 12. Great for the Big 12. Absolutely. Big 12 is going to be the best league in the country once again this year. I have no doubt about it. WVU Fan 13 says going to have a couple of go-to scores when teams double up. Tucker, absolutely. Javon Small, maybe Jonathan Powell, maybe KJ Tenner. I don't know. I'll be interested to see if the two freshmen can continue to play that well once they get into playing more physical teams like UMass that's coming up. I'll be anxious to see how they do against UMass. With Frank Martin as our coach, they're going to play a physical brand of basketball. Also, when they get into Big 12 play, when they get over in the Bahamas and play in that event over there, they're going to be playing a lot more high major programs. How will they do? It's going to be interesting to see, but I really like what I see from those two freshmen. Toby Okani showing, even though he's not a shooter per se, he can score the basketball. He's good at getting the ball to the rim, getting above the rim when he needs to. So I like what he brings to the table as well. WV Fan 13 also says Chris ball movement. Yes, Tenner was fun to watch. Earval, Average Cody says I like the two freshmen. They're going to help out big time. But yeah, I really, again, this team, man, is they showed me a lot. You can tell they love to play together. You can tell they play well together. You can tell Coach DeVries and his attention to detail is absolutely just phenomenal. Like he leaves nothing out, You can tell that. And obviously, I'm sure he's not going to be happy about the rebounding numbers. He's going to want to improve that. Again, this might be one of the smallest teams West Virginia plays this year, and they still got out-rebounded. So if you can't rebound the ball well, what do you have to do? You have to shoot it really well, especially from three. You get extra possessions on steals, which I think they can do, and you have to be extremely efficient with the basketball. And this team does that. They don't turn it over much. Now, 11's probably more than you want, but you can live with that, right? Especially in game one with a new team. They're not going to turn it over much. If they can continue to shoot the ball at the clip they shot at tonight, which is 45% from three, they're going to win some ball games, in my opinion, even if they don't rebound it all that great. get stops on defense, be efficient on offense, get some extra possessions with steals, and you can still that can offset poor rebounding. But I know that Coach DeVries is going to want to improve that regardless. So I really like what I saw from his team. Like I said, the energy, just the attention to detail, the togetherness, the chemistry. It's all great stuff, man. I really enjoy it and really enjoy watching it. I'll tell you what, it was just fun to watch. You know, no offense to last year's team, but at times it just wasn't fun to watch. I mean, they were so all over the place, looked so discombobulated at times. But they were handed a look. That team last year was handed a poop sandwich. They were trying to make chicken salad out of chicken poop, and was in a tough spot, tough situation. They were trying to make the best of it. They had the roster, guys leaving and coming all, most of the season. It was just they never really had a chance to gel, and so unfortunately it led to some ugly basketball. It looks like this year, even if these teams, I'm not expecting this team to go out here and win the Big 12 or anything. I'm not even personally expecting them to make the NCAA tournament. But if they can go out here and play a fun brand of basketball, compete in the Big 12, and just show that what Coach DeVries is capable of doing in year one with a brand new team, it's going to be a good season in my opinion. But yeah, they've got UMass coming up. Then they have to go to Pitt to play the Panthers. So two really, really good games coming up that'll really test this team. UMass out of the Atlantic 10, I believe it is. And again, Frank Martin, very, a Bob Huggins disciple, going to play a very, very physical brand of basketball. He's going to get after you. They're going to probably get physical. They're going to probably out rebound you. But again, efficiency, getting extra possessions through steals is going to be the way to win the game, in my opinion, for the Mountaineers. Coming up this Friday, I'm hoping to do a preview show on that game. I've reached out to someone who covers UMass to see about getting them on the show. In the meantime, I'm going to have Zach Siegel also doing some shows on the channel, and he's going to be doing some preview shows for us each week. And then Shauna Rose will be doing her post game show. That'll probably be out hopefully sometime tomorrow or at least in the next couple of days. Where I'll be doing the more immediate reaction stuff. She's going to be doing the day after or 2 days after reviews, where she can get a little bit more into detail with stats and whatnot. So be on the lookout for that here on the channel. And remember, guys, Shauna and Zach are both new to the YouTube game. Zach has some experience, but he's still new to it. I think he's been at it less than a year, if I understand right, if that long. And then maybe, matter of fact, I think it's only a few months. And then Shauna, to my understanding, has never done YouTube until now. So, I've had a couple comments about, I've just had a couple negative comments, and I understand it, but everybody has to start out somewhere, and they're going to get better with each and every show. So stick with us. I just can't do every show by myself. In order to keep this channel going and growing, I've got to have other people to help me. Okay. So please stick with us and help us work through the growing pains of having new creators. They are going to work their butts off to bring you good content. Earval, Ofri, from what I understand, it's just scuttlebutt I'm hearing on the street is Ofri's just, for whatever reason, just not had a really good, he's a great young man, and I just don't know how good he's practicing. It looks like, excuse me, it looks like he, maybe he's just not a good fit for the team. I'm not sure. Maybe this style of basketball is not a fit for him. I don't know. Or maybe, maybe he's just not ready. Maybe he's just not ready. And if he's not ready yet, and he was having to be thrown out there in a starting role a year ago, what's that tell you about last year's team and how badly they were hurting last year? To me, that goes to show you something. Again, I would love to see Ofri get some more minutes. I was hoping to see him get in the game late tonight, but he didn't, unfortunately. Not sure why. But it looks like he's going to be one of the last guys off the bench for this squad. Unfortunately, we all love Ofri. We appreciate his loyalty. He's a great young man, awesome young man. I guess he just needs to improve. And at the end of the day, I'm sure he will. Now, I don't know, maybe he's banged up or injured. I'm not sure. I haven't heard. Maybe more will come out about that in the near future. And yes, WVU Fan 13, thank you for the reminder. We do have the WVU women playing tomorrow against, is it Toledo? I think. Anyway, I think it might be Toledo. The 16th ranked WVU women play tomorrow. Let me see. Let me go ahead and pull up the game information for that while I'm thinking about it. What? They don't even have it on here. What? ESPN, man. They don't even have the women's schedule posted on their website yet, on their app. That's pretty ridiculous, if you ask me. ESPN need to get your crap together. I'm looking at the women. It doesn't even have any info on there. Anyway, the West Virginia women play tomorrow. Not sure about the time. If somebody knows it, put it in the chat for me. West Virginia, we are one, says the future of this team is bright. Hansberry and Harris sophomores and our freshmen Tenner and Powell both look great and had double digits. I agree. Comes on at 7, says Average Cody, and I'm pretty sure it's on ESPN Plus, if I'm not mistaken. Nathan Scott says, let's go Mountaineers. They look great. Absolutely they did, Nathan. They play Towson. I'm sorry, I don't know why I said Toledo. The T threw me off, I guess. West Virginia women play Towson tomorrow night at 7. I'm pretty sure it airs on ESPN Plus. Yes, Average Cody, thank you. So be sure to tune in for that one if you can. And remember, tomorrow is Election Day. Regardless of what side of the aisle you're on, get out and vote. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for, but it is Election Day. So make sure to do your duty and vote. And if you don't vote, that's cool too. Nathan Scott says, I'm really impressed with Tenner and Powell. Absolutely. I'm really excited. I like the way they balance this team out with, you've got DeVries and Small and some of the veteran guys blended in with some younger guys like Tenner and Powell and Hansberry and Harris. A very, very good balance. And then, I expect that they'll probably recruit well too behind Tenner and Powell for the 2025 class. And I'm sure they'll do well in the portal again next year. So I'll be anxious to see, what comes of that class, the 25 class. But I really, again, obviously losing DeVries and Small is going to hurt. But I like what's coming behind them, and I think I trust DeVries to go out and find the right guys to fill those holes. All right, again, congrats to the West Virginia Mountaineers for their 87-59 victory over Robert Morris in the very first game of the Darian DeVries era. Tucker DeVries dropped 18 points. Javon Small with 15 points. Amani Hansberry had 9 points and 12 rebounds. Just a really good performance overall for West Virginia. A couple things to clean up, rebounding primarily, and then they need to do a better job of shooting free throws. Those are really the two areas where they need to improve primarily. But considering it was the first game with a new coaching staff, a brand new roster, basically, hard to complain about it. I thought they looked great. Very exciting brand of basketball. They have. You can tell that he gives them freedom to play, freedom to shoot threes. Freedom to play their game. Obviously, within the structure of the offense, obviously, but I love a coach that lets his guys shoot the basketball, and because that's the way I played when I was young, and that's the way I think that's what makes basketball fun. Let your guys get out there and play loose and have fun. That's what I like to see. Tosh Miller says he can't wait for Stone to come back. Yes, and I even forgot to mention that Jaden Stone, who was a 20+ point per game scorer last year at Detroit Metro, I think it was called. Anyway, he's injured right now. Indefinitely, he's out for we don't know how long. They can get him back and have another piece coming off the bench, maybe another scorer to go along with DeVries and Small and Hansberry and these other guys. It'd be great. We've got a few new people joining the chat. We've got Curtis D316, David McIntyre, Matthew Watkins. Thy will be done. Thank you all for joining the chat. Obviously, Tosh, I mentioned him earlier. I'm not sure if Overy's heard or not, Nathan. I haven't heard. My guess is Overy's just not one of the top guys right now. It's a shame to see, but it looks like he's just, been passed up by some of the other guys on the roster. But again, he could be hurt too. I haven't heard. WVU Fan 13 says UMass beat New Hampshire 103-74. Okay, thanks for that update. I also saw where David McIntyre says, love the content. I'm rarely on live. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, David. Colorado, Daniel Sargent says Colorado losing at home by 8, being favored by 18. Interesting. So we've got UCF who upset somebody. Colorado may get upset tonight. College sports, man, you got to love it. It's been happening in football. Now it's going to happen in basketball. Pitt beat Radford 96-56. Yeah, we don't worry about those little pitters. Average Cody says hopefully he gets to come back soon. He's a very good scorer. Absolutely. Love to see Jaden Stone come back. We could use his scoring off the bench. Daniel Sargent predicting that WVU beats Kansas 67-65. I like the confidence, Daniel. What a way to open up Big 12 play for Darian DeVries, right? Welcome to the jungle, baby. Going to Lawrence, Kansas to Fall Gallon Fieldhouse for your very first Big 12 game on New Year's Eve of all nights. Welcome to New Year. Happy freaking New Year, right? Yes, Tosh, let's get Pitt revenge next Friday. I hope we get it, man. Would love to see it. Would love to see it. But first, they got to worry about UMass. I'm concerned about the UMass game. I think UMass might be a little bit underrated this year. Daniel says, I say this, talking about Kansas, because we beat them last year and we look better this year. Absolutely. But Kansas is probably going to be a better team this year as well. And last year, that game, was kind of an anomaly. That was that team's Super Bowl, I'm sure. And Kansas probably overlooked West Virginia last year, knowing the issues they were dealing with. Curtis says he thinks the first big win will be over Gonzaga. Interesting. So if West Virginia beats Pitt, you don't consider that a big win, I guess. I guess you're talking about teams that are ranked, I'm assuming. But that's what you mean by big win. And WVU Fan 13 wants whatever you're smoking. I love that comment. It'll be hard. I just to be frank, I haven't followed Gonzaga much close this year. I'm not sure what they have coming back. I'll have to dig a little deeper into that once the game gets closer. But man, I do think this team is going to knock off some teams they're not supposed to this year. I really like. Again, they play with confidence. They play with a swagger. You can tell they're having fun out there. They gel well together, and they're going to continue to gel a little more each and every game, right? I keep beating this dead horse, but they've got to improve their rebounding, and they've got to do a better job making free throws. If they can do those two things, I think they're going to win a lot of basketball games. I really do. All right, well, listen, guys, this is going to be a short and sweet show. Not a whole lot to talk about, but I went over the stats. If you're coming on here to end, make sure to go back and watch the replay once it's up. But appreciate you all for hopping in. This is the first live show I've done on here on Hoops from the Hills since I took the channel back over. Again, apologize for the nasally voice. I'm a little under the weather. To go along with what most of you know is I've had a death in my family. My brother passed away. We're not exactly sure if he died. He was at his home by himself. We're not sure if he died Thursday night or Friday morning, but nonetheless, he died, and we've been dealing with that. I've been spending a lot of time with family, helping with arrangements and whatnot, helping to clean out his apartment that he lived in. So a lot of things going on. But then on top of that, I've come down with some sort of cold or something to make matters even worse. But nonetheless, I'm here. I'm going to do shows as much as I can on here and over at Couz's Corner. Hope to get a show up there tomorrow, but we'll see. But nonetheless, thank you all for hopping on here. Glad to see the Mountaineers get a big win and get the season started off on the right foot. Thank you all for tuning into the show. I'm done.